I welcome you to my channel. Subscribe and listen to my new stories every day. The sunlight streams through our bedroom window, casting a warm glow across the bed where I sit, my thoughts lost in the changes unfolding before my eyes. Barbara, once a vibrant figure clad in pastels and florals, now moves around our home like a shadow, her aura darkened, her laughter seldom. It's as if I'm living with a stranger. She's dyed her hair a deep, unnatural brunette, and her wardrobe has shifted to an unrelenting black. I try to convince myself it's just a phase. Barbara, why all black lately? I ask one evening as she sifts through her stark new wardrobe. She turns, her face masked in nonchalance. I just felt like trying something new, Mark. It's nothing. But it was something. The suspicion gnaws at me, a constant companion in our increasingly silent home. Then one day, I come home early. The house, usually quiet during these hours, thrums with a low, pulsating beat. It's unusual. Barbara hasn't mentioned having anyone over. I walk up the stairs, my heart pounding in my chest, driven by a mixture of dread and curiosity. The music grows louder, a gothic symphony that seems out of place with the Barbara I knew. The door to our bedroom is ajar, and through the sliver of space, the reality of my fears materializes before my eyes. Barbara and a man, a figure with long black hair and black painted lips, intertwined in the throes of passion. His pale hand trails across her dyed hair as she whispers his name, Damon. My presence goes unnoticed, their moans drowning out the sound of my heart breaking. I back away, my mind racing, adrenaline coursing through my veins. This betrayal is not just emotional, it is a visual affront, a theatrical display of my worst fears come to life. I retreat to the solitude of my car, where the world stops spinning long enough for me to think. The image of them together burns behind my eyes, an image so stark and offensive, it propels me into action. Revenge, cold, calculated, and inevitable, begins to take shape in my shattered world. The next weeks are a blur as I put my plan into motion. I hire a private investigator, collect evidence of Barbara's infidelity, and prepare my case. Our conversations at home become a chess game, each of us maneuvering around the truth, a truth only I am fully aware of. Finally, armed with enough evidence, I confront her. The shock on her face is almost satisfying, almost enough to quell the pain. Barbara, did you think I wouldn't find out? My voice is steady, but inside, I'm anything but calm. Her defense is weak, her excuse is flimsy. Mark, I didn't know how to tell you. It just happened. Just happened. I scoff, the bitterness seeping through. You didn't just change your style for nothing. You did it for him. The divorce papers come next. She signs them, her hand trembling, her gothic facade unable to mask her fear of what life will be like without me. I leave her with nothing but the ruins of the destiny she chose when she decided to betray me. As I walk out of the lawyer's office, the finality of the moment weighs heavy on my shoulders. I know our paths will never cross again. The chapter of our lives together is closed, sealed by her deception and colored by my revenge. The future looms uncertain, but one thing is clear, the intrigue of this betrayal has only just begun to unfold. The days following the divorce are filled with a silent, creeping emptiness that invades every corner of my once shared home. The walls echo memories of laughter and love, now tainted by the bitter sting of betrayal. Yet amidst this desolation, my resolve hardens. Revenge has been served cold, but my spirit yearns for closure, for something to fill the void left by Barbara's departure. I decide to confront Damon, the man who turned my life into a tragic spectacle. Armed with his address, a small apartment in a rundown part of the city, I drive through the cold night, each mile bringing me closer to the man who stole my happiness. The building looms before me, its facade as dark and brooding as the new world I've been thrust into. I ascend the creaky stairs to apartment 3B and knock sharply. The door swings open, revealing Damon, his long black hair and painted lips a stark contrast against the dim hallway light. Damon, we need to talk, I say, my voice firm, betraying no hint of the turmoil within. He smirks, a knowing look in his eyes. I wondered when you'd show up. Come in, then. Let's have it out. The apartment is cramped, the air thick with the scent of incense and disdain. We sit across from each other, two men linked by the sins of the woman we both claimed to love. Why her? Why Barbara? I demand, my fists clenched tightly. Damon leans back, his gaze unwavering. It was never about you, man. She came to me, looking for something you couldn't give her. Excitement. Mystery. I scoff at his audacity. You think you gave her something special? You ruined a marriage for your pathetic thrill. The tension escalates, our voices rising. You don't get it, do you? She was already gone before I came along, Damon retorts, his tone laced with scorn. The anger surges within me, but I catch it, channeling it into a calculated response. Maybe so, but you facilitated it. And for that, you'll pay. Damon stands, his figure imposing. What are you going to do, Mark? You've already taken everything from her. Not everything. Not yet. Leaving Damon with a promise of further retribution, I return to my car, my mind racing with possibilities. The next morning, I begin the second phase of my revenge. Using the evidence gathered by the private investigator, I send anonymous tips to Damon's employer and to his circle, detailing his role in the destruction of my marriage. His reputation begins to crumble as whispers turn into shouts. Within weeks, Damon loses his job, his friends, his social standing, all the things he held dear, just as I had lost Barbara. But as I watch his life disintegrate from afar, a hollow victory settles in my chest. The quest for revenge, once a burning desire, leaves me cold, the triumph tainted by the realization that it brings no real solace. The emptiness remains, a stark reminder of the love I once had and the peace I still seek. I spend my days and nights pondering the futility of my actions, the cycle of vengeance that brought more destruction than healing. As the intrigue of my revenge unfolds, I realize that the true path to redemption lies not in the ruin of others, but in the rebuilding of oneself. And with this epiphany, I vow to find a new purpose, one that transcends the shadows of betrayal and leads to a brighter, albeit solitary, future. A month has passed since Damon's downfall, and the chill of winter has settled into the city, mirroring the cold isolation in my heart. My days are filled with routine, each task a diversion from the memories of Barbara and the destruction left in the wake of our broken marriage. But peace remains elusive, and the ghosts of my past refuse to remain silent. It's a bleak Thursday when I receive a call from an unknown number. The voice on the other end is hesitant, tinged with desperation. Mark? It's Barbara. Her voice, once the melody of my life, now strikes a dissonant chord. Barbara, why are you calling? I need to see you, Mark. Please, it's important, she pleads. Reluctantly, I agree to meet her at a nearby cafe, a public place where the remnants of our shared life can't suffocate me. As I enter, I spot her immediately. The changes in her are stark. The vibrant woman I loved is now sallow, her eyes shadowed with regret. Mark, thank you for coming, she starts, her voice low. I'm sorry. For everything. Her apology hangs in the air, but it does little to warm the frost between us. Why now, Barbara? After everything that's happened? She clasps her hands nervously. I've lost everything, Mark. My job, my friends, even Damon left the city. I've had a lot of time to think about what I did to us, to you. I listen, the fortress around my heart cracking just enough to let in a sliver of her distress. What do you want from me, Barbara? I don't expect forgiveness, Mark. I want to make things right, somehow. Her plea is sincere, but the scars of betrayal are deep. How can you possibly make this right? I ask, the bitterness creeping into my tone. Barbara reaches into her bag and pulls out a thick envelope. "This is for you. It's not much, but it's a start. It's from the sale of my mother's house. I want you to have it. Consider it a token of my remorse." I eye the envelope warily, the gesture unexpected. "Why would you give this to me?" "Because I owe you. I owe you a chance to rebuild, even if I'm not a part of that," she explains, pushing the envelope across the table. Taking the envelope, I feel the weight of her gesture. It's a significant amount, enough to start anew, to perhaps find a semblance of the peace I crave. We part ways, the air between us clearer, but not clear. I walk back to my car, the envelope heavy in my coat pocket. As I drive home, I realize that while revenge brought temporary satisfaction, this unexpected act of contrition from Barbara opens a new path, one of healing. Arriving home, I sit with the envelope in hand, contemplating my next steps. The money, while helpful, doesn't erase the past, but it offers a foundation for the future. A future where I can move beyond the shadows of betrayal. That evening, I make a decision. I will use this money not just for myself, but to help others who have faced similar betrayals. Perhaps, in helping them, I'll find the redemption I seek for myself. As I plan the formation of a support group, I feel a shift within me. The narrative of my life is changing, from one of vengeance to one of virtue. The intrigue of my own story continues to unfold, and I am now the author of a new chapter, one of hope. As winter gives way to the first breath of spring, my life begins to find a new rhythm. The support group I founded has grown, becoming a sanctuary for those battered by betrayal. Each story shared is a thread in the tapestry of recovery, mine included. Yet, beneath this facade of healing and redemption, the seed of revenge continues to fester, watered by an unforeseen revelation that turns my newfound peace into turmoil once again. One evening, as I sift through old emails for the group's newsletter, I stumble upon a series of hidden messages in Barbara's old account, which I had forgotten to deactivate. The emails are from Damon, but they are not the declarations of a lover. Instead, they speak of a plan so sinister it chills my blood. The affair, the style change, it was all a calculated manipulation, not just of heartstrings but of financial strings. They had planned to leave me bankrupt, but their plan had only partially succeeded due to my unexpected retaliation. Fury ignites within me, a violent blaze that no amount of rational thought can extinguish. I had been deceived on a level far deeper than I had imagined. My next actions are cold, calculated, and driven by the insidious nature of their betrayal. I track down Damon once again, but this time, I am not alone. With me are a few members of the support group, each skilled in their own right, including a private investigator and a former police officer. Together, we confront Damon at a rundown bar on the edge of town, where he now hides from the ruin I had previously inflicted. "Damon," I call out as we enter, the dim light glinting off the bar's grimy surfaces. He turns, his face a mask of confusion that shifts quickly to fear. "Mark, what do you want?" "Haven't you done enough?" he stammers, taking a step back. I throw the printed emails on the table. "You thought you could destroy me. You and Barbara planned this from the start. But you failed, Damon. And now, you'll truly lose everything." The confrontation escalates quickly. Words are flung like daggers, and when Damon makes a move to escape, the former officer restrains him with ease. "We're not here to inflict physical harm, though, we're here for a more devastating revenge." Using the evidence of their deeper deception, we take our story public. The media laps it up, a tale of love, betrayal, and a man's fight to reclaim his dignity. Damon's reputation, already hanging by a thread, is obliterated. No corner of his life remains untouched as he becomes a pariah, unable to find a job or a friend who will believe his lies. But the final act of revenge is reserved for Barbara. I confront her at her place of work, a public confrontation that leaves her exposed and humiliated. "Barbara," I say, my voice calm but loud enough for her co-workers to overhear, everyone should know the kind of person you truly are. Not just an adulterer, but a conspirator, a thief in lover's clothing. Her face pales as her colleagues whisper, casting sidelong glances filled with judgment and revulsion. She tries to deny, to explain, but the damage is done. Barbara flees, leaving her job and the city behind forever. As I watch her go, the weight of my ruthless vengeance settles around me. I had sought peace through helping others, but in the end, it was the dark satisfaction of retribution that had brought me true relief. I had become the architect of their destruction, just as they had once sought to be of mine. And yet, as I stand there, watching the remnants of my past life disappear into the bustling city, I feel a final release. The intrigue of my revenge is complete, the plot of their betrayal fully revealed, and I am free. The hero and the traitor part ways, forever bound by the hatred of betrayal, each bearing the scars of the war they waged against each other's hearts.